Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Breathe Motivation. My name's Anthony Hester. I'm your host for this show. So glad to join you guys this week. My goal, as always, is to help you find purpose and passion in everything you do on a day-to-day basis, and that is why I'm here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on the new episodes when they drop. That's always an important thing, right? Get your motivation every week. So let's go ahead and get started. The definition for today is busy, which means to keep occupied. It's a very, very interesting thing. And I've noticed it's kind of a phenomenon lately. But anytime I ask people, hey, how are you? People are always like, man, really busy, too busy, really crazy busy, right? That's always, and I'm guilty of the same thing, right? And I thought it was interesting as I asked that question, and I had to kind of sit back and really think about that this week because busy, that's like the new norm of this society, right? You've got to be busy. You've got to look busy. You've got to do everything to stay busy, right? And I think a lot of the times we get lost in that idea of being busy. Sometimes we get so, and that's a lot, I as I sat down and contemplated that, I really thought about how crazy it is to be busy all the time because I've noticed the busier I am, the less that I get done. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but when you really sit back and think about how busy, and I say that with air quotes, how busy you really are, there's a lot of things that we're missing out within our life, and it can lead to you feeling burned out or exhausted, and it really creates this kind of feeling inside of being stuck. And it was interesting because I felt like at this point of where I'm at right now, I'm very busy. Uh, and it creates a lot of, kind of tension within myself. And for whatever reason, society has created this life. I don't know if it's social media and always seeing other people doing other things. So you got to be busy because other people are busy. Society creates this through social media that you've always got to be busy. And social media is a great platform. But at the same time, when people are constantly chasing the lives of what other people are doing, so I got to keep up with, keeping up with the Joneses is, how they always talk about it is you got to keep, one-upping somebody else. It creates this kind of feeling of, not being your authentic self and, feeling like you can't slow down because other people aren't slowing down. But I tell you, a lot of people are not going to post all the hard work that goes into behind the scenes or, obviously people on social media are going to really kind of project their best life on social media. So it's very easy for you to get discouraged because you're seeing all the success around you or you're seeing people going out and having fun, having these vacations. But a lot of times it's not all glamour all the time, right? There's a lot of things that go into it. And I thought it was very important, for me to kind of touch base on this because this is something I personally have struggled with in the last couple of weeks is just being too busy and not really taking the time to really understand that, busy is not necessarily a great thing because it really distracts you from what you're trying to do. It distracts you from success. It distracts you from all of these other things as far as, your self-care, finding yourself and really answering those questions. And, being busy keeps you occupied. It keeps you distracted from really, sometimes, a lot of people, stay busy so that they don't have to look at their problems and try to find solutions because maybe they feel like they can't find solutions. And I'll tell you, I've been there before where, I've kept myself so busy that, at some point it's a crash. You're going to crash and you're going to be like, well, man, where did that come from? Right? It's because you are running away from issues. You're running away from problems instead of looking for the solution. So I think it's very important for us to really, really look at being too busy, and that creates a lot of things. And I look at it right now, as I look at it, it creates, kind of burnout, right? Burnout creates a lot of things. So exhaustion, right? You're always tired. You're not motivated to get up. And I've noticed, in the last couple of months with everything that I've been doing, there's times where like normally I'll wake up, my feet hit the floor and I'm ready to go. But as I start to, get busy, I start to get exhausted. I don't want to wake up, and be, ready to go. I start to want to sleep a little bit more, just lay in bed and which is a great thing because I just sit there and I kind of just think, or, I say how grateful I am for life and, kind of just, thank be thankful for the things I have. So there are ways to be, instead of looking at it as being lazy, you can look at it as an opportunity for your growth and your me time in the morning. So you can take 10 to 15 minutes to, kind of lay in bed, but, don't just go back to sleep, be thankful or grateful for all the things you have. And your morning starts to turn out to be a little bit better. Burnout leads to lack of motivation. You're maybe not as motivated to go out there and get those sales or get those new clients or, whatever position you're in. Maybe, it doesn't have to necessarily be sales, but you're lacking that motivation to get up and get out and, attack the world the way you want to. It also leads to frustration and negativity, and that's one of those things you start to, I've noticed sometimes when I'm too busy, I start to get frustrated by the process, or I start to, kind of negativity is easier to seep in. So you start to, absorb, the toxic people that are, toxic, and you kind of like, oh, well, I guess I got to listen to these people, right? You start to allow a lot of things to come into you. So, your performance starts to take a dip, as you start to get into burnout, career burnout, you're constantly being really busy and you're not being as successful because you're so busy trying to do all these things that aren't going to help you be successful. And you can get caught up in that. You don't have any you time, me time, right? You've got to be able to take some time, and I think one of the things that I struggle with constantly, and I'm constantly battling myself, is for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's society or, whatever, and, people might look at this as an excuse, but, I don't take a whole lot of me time because I feel guilty. And it's because I feel like I've always got to constantly be doing something. Everybody preaches life is so short, you got to go accomplish everything. And I think we can get really caught up in that. But a lot of the times when you don't take me time, that you start to suffer in other areas. You start to suffer in your home life. You start to suffer, in your work, right? That work-life balance, right? And then you start to have a lack of satisfaction, which, you're not happy about anything. You're constantly looking at all these things and say, man, I could have done better. Or, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, because you're so busy and so consumed by busyness that you lose focus of those things. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of things that I look at and what I do personally to really kind of overcome that burnout or overcome that busyness. And it takes a lot of work, especially if you're so used to working all the time and being busy. It's very hard to kind of come off of that. You're almost addicted to being busy, and busyness creates dizziness, right? Because of the stress. So I think it's important for us to really, not feel guilty about taking some time, and being lazy, as people say, take some time. Here's a couple of things that I look at, relax, go get a massage, go, meditate, go watch your, movie that you've been wanting to see. You're not being lazy. You're worrying about yourself. You're taking care of yourself. That self-care is important for you to be successful in what you do, and making sure that you're focused on all those things you need to do. So at some point you do have to relax. You've got to be able to step back and just slow down. And it's okay to slow down, the things that are going on. And this is kind of the time, I had a conversation with a good friend that said, this is kind of the time where people kind of take their foot off the gas because of the winter and the fall. People just kind of naturally, it gets darker quicker. So your body starts to get a little bit more tired, but it's a great time to kind of recharge. And I think it's important for you to recharge. You've got to be able to relax and not go all the time. And that's something I struggle with. When I'm sitting down, I'm like, man, I got to be doing something. But no, you got to relax. You got to, go take care of yourself, meditate. That's one of the things that I have to, I don't have to do it, but I enjoy doing it. And it's something that I feel better after doing it, whether it's 10, 15 minutes or just sneaking it in. But relax. Life isn't going to, all of a sudden, because you're busy, going to, make all this great stuff happen. Great things happen over time and the compounding effect. So relax. When you wake up in the morning, give yourself enough time to be able to do all the things you want to in the morning. Instead of waking up late, start to wake up maybe 15 minutes earlier. That'll make a huge difference. And you're not in a rush to get out to work, or you're not in a rush to try to eat breakfast. Take some time to really just relax, take some time, write in a journal, all that good stuff. The next thing, and this is the hardest thing for most people, is to unplug. Turn off your phone, get off your computer, go enjoy nature. I think that's one of the biggest things that I enjoy doing, is going for a walk and being out in nature and feeling that breeze hit my face and seeing all, especially during the fall. It's so beautiful, when you see all these different leaves changing colors. You've got the red and orange and green and yellow. It's such an amazing time. And I think, unplugging from your phone, we're constantly, especially for me, I've got like 3 or 4 phones. And sometimes, and I'm not saying that to like brag because it's not a great thing to have, but you've got to be able to turn off your phone and go enjoy life because we're so plugged into that social media that's creating that busyness. I got to be busy. I got to look better than everybody else or however that looks like. So turn off your phone, turn off your computer, get away from it. For a half an hour, your life will change drastically and you'll see the ability to get motivated and, really find satisfaction within your life. So just unplug, turn all that stuff off. Don't listen to my podcast, every day, right? No, go ahead and do that. No, I'm just kidding. But just do that. The next thing, sleep. Sleep. Get enough sleep. A lot of us are up on our phones until late at night, and that's okay. But, make sure that you're getting your 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Whatever works best for you. Your body's going to tell you what's going to work best for you, but make sure to get sleep. Sleep is an important piece for you to be successful and help you to live and be more concentrated in the moment, right? Next is know your boundaries and set boundaries. Question everything. Question your life and what you're doing currently in your personal life. Question everything in your work life. Question everything around you. Start to ask questions of, if you're feeling down, why am I feeling down? What are obstacles are in my way that can make my life easier? Start to look for things that make your life a little bit less busy, or, you keep moving. To really, grasp and find greatness. Know your boundaries, set boundaries with people. If there are people in your life that are just negative and toxic, a lot of the times when you're in burnout, that's what you kind of gravitate to is negativity. So start to find positive people, step away from those people or spend a little bit less time with those people. Know your boundaries, be able to put that boundary up and say, hey, you know what? I'm dealing with my own stuff right now. I've got to be able to be focused on positivity. And just question everything. Look at your work and say, hey, is it me or is it them? And a lot of the times people tell you, quit making excuses. No, that's BS. At the end of the day, there are going to be times where maybe work is a little bit harder because you don't have as many resources as you did before. Or, they did, they're trying to cut costs, so they're making it a little bit harder, right? Just know that and look for the solution on how you can continue to be better. That's important. So make sure to question everything. Question everything in your life. Ask yourself who, what, when, where, why. I always think of that. It's something we learned in elementary school. Learn the great things about that and set boundaries based on what you need. And really just just love life, enjoy life, because life is really short, is what they say. And at the end of the day, you've got to be able to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing. And if you've got to be able to, kind of dial back, it's okay to dial back. I'm giving you permission to dial back and say it's okay to not be busy, because too busy is not a great thing, because you start to lack focus. You start to lack on dreaming and hitting those goals that you really want to, attack, because you're so busy, right? So you got to stop being busy. So enjoy life. I'm giving you permission. I have to give myself permission all the time just to relax and not be worried about everything, because that's what creates, life and lack of focus and creates burnout. So you've got to be able to take care of yourself. You are the most important thing in this world, because at the end of the day, you're the only person that can control you. Same thing with other people. Don't try to control other people. Control yourself, and other people will kind of open up and change around you. It's very interesting how it works, but don't worry about other people. Worry about yourself, and great things will come to you. So let me leave you this quote: "Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life." Man, that's pretty deep, right? Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. So go out there, live the best life that you can. Start focusing on you and start to get a little bit less busy, because too busy is not a great thing. It doesn't make you any more important than anybody else. You don't have to keep up with society and hey, the look at me, situations and everything with that. So go out there, be the best you can be. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Breathe Motivate. Like my page on Facebook, Breathe Motivation. Check out my website, breathemotivation.com. And as always, remember to breathe motivation and exhale success. And I'll see you next week. Thanks.